30 years ago, a man walked into a clinic in rural Ohio with headaches so severe he could barely open his eyes. Doctors ran the usual tests, gave him painkillers, and sent him home. Last month, that same man collapsed on his kitchen floor. And when surgeons finally opened him up, they found something that made the entire operating room go completely silent. A metallic device lodged deep inside his skull. And nobody had put it there, at least not recently. Let me walk you through what happened, because this case has shaken the medical community in ways that very few stories actually do. When the patient arrived at the hospital, his name is being withheld for privacy. He was barely conscious. Initial CT scans showed a foreign object near the base of the prefrontal cortex. The attending physician described it as roughly the size of a grain of rice, but perfectly cylindrical, with what appeared to be microscopic layered components visible under imaging. Not organic, not naturally occurring, manufactured. The surgical team spent 11 hours carefully extracting it. What they pulled out was described as a dense metallic capsule, almost identical in design to early biotelemetry implants from the 1990s. Small sensors, a degraded power source, and traces of what appeared to be a transmission coil. Now here is where your brain should start asking questions. The patient has no memory of any surgery. No records exist under his name showing any implant procedure. His family never consented to anything, and the device itself predates by several years the commercially available technology that looks anything like it. Researchers who examined the extracted object noted that the materials used were consistent with experimental biomedical engineering from classified government-adjacent research programs that were quietly shut down in the early programs that, according to declassified FOIA documents, were studying long-term neural monitoring in civilian test subjects. I want to be careful here. There is no confirmed explanation yet. The investigation is ongoing, but several things are being taken very seriously. 1. How did this device get inside this man's skull without leaving a visible surgical scar? 2. What was it transmitting and to where? 3. Why did it suddenly cause catastrophic neurological failure now, 30 years later? The medical team has handed the device over to a forensic engineering lab. Early analysis suggests the internal components match nothing currently in any public medical database. Independent researchers have been brought in. The FBI was notified, and the patient is recovering, though he is reportedly experiencing memory fragmentation covering large portions of the night. Cases like this, one force us to ask uncomfortable questions about consent, surveillance, and what governments have historically been willing to do to human beings in the name of scientific progress. The Tuskegee experiments were real. MK Ultra was real. Non-consensual testing on civilians has documented precedent. This story is not closed. It is barely open. What we do know is that one man spent 30 years walking around with something inside his head that was never supposed to be found. And the only reason anyone knows about it at all is because his body finally gave out trying to contain it. Stay close to this one. It is only getting stranger.